And welcome everyone to another episode of Dan Tony Sports. My name is Dan Snyder, joined tonight by Dan Beebe, Tony Casper, and from a remote location. We're not going to tell you where he is. We're gonna make a game out of this. Dan O'Shea calling in. Guys, how are y'all doing tonight?
Wonderful.
Got some Mountain Dew.
Lovely and hidden away.
Haha, yes. Seriously, we're going to have some kind of prize. Like, the first person that finds Dan O'Shea and says, Dan Tony, wins some kind of prize.
$500 from you, right?
$500 from Beebe, you heard it.
No, yep, from Snyder.
Heard it here first.
Yes. So,
Lousy cash flow.
we don't normally include any music in our podcast, but what you just heard is Shipping Up to Boston by the Dropkick Murphys, and there's a reason we played that and started the show with it. And we will get into that in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to start the show the same way we always do, with a poem. Tonight, we're going to change it up just a little bit. So, without further ado, the Empire went to Philly and didn't come back with a loss. But tonight, we aren't talking football. We're going to talk lacrosse. UAlbany is going where they've never been before. They're on to championship weekend and the Final Four. They're looking for revenge against their new rivals, Yale. They're hoping to succeed where the last time they failed. Hoping for redemption and fighting for a win, for a chance at playing Duke or the mighty Terrapins. The Rays have to play their best, and TD be TD. Nanticoke needs to be a bull, and defense stop Ben Reeves. The Danes are very good, and they can certainly win it all, especially if Connor Fields can dominate the ball. We don't usually deviate from football in the poem, but I feel like we needed to have that poem about UAlbany lacrosse. The reason I played Shipping Up to Boston to open up the episode is because for the first time in program history, UAlbany is heading to championship weekend. This year it's in Boston, being held at Gillette Field Stadium, whatever it's called, where the New England Patriots play. But UAlbany, for the first time, has a chance at playing in a national championship game. Guys, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty friggin' excited about that. Saturday, they take on Yale, and Maryland takes on Duke. We'll get into that in just a couple minutes. But got some playoffs to talk.
Playoffs?
Of course, I knew it was coming. Yeah, so where do you guys want to start? You want to start in the NBA or the NHL?
NBA? Yep.
All right, we'll start in the NBA.
I think we should start where it's most boring in the NBA Finals. East and West have been pretty boring.
What are you talking about? You don't like a series where each game is decided by 20-plus points?
It's not my brand of playoff basketball.
Sorry, what'd you say, O'Shea?
It's been all blowouts. There's been no like close, exciting games. By partway through the fourth, it's like, all right, well, time to turn this off.
Well, some of the games, it's over in the middle of the third quarter.
Yep.
I mean, there's no reason to continue watching. The excitement is just completely gone, and that's what I think is killing these NBA playoffs. I mean, we started off with a lot of exciting series, couple teams with upsets, but does anybody else find it like unseasoned chicken watching this and what we're seeing right now anyway? It's like,
Really bland.
yeah, I kind of expected this, but, didn't really have to, was hoping for something different.
Well, it's weird because it's blowouts on either side so far. The Rockets really need to answer back to what the Warriors just did to them, because the Warriors could have stopped scoring in the third quarter and still won that game.
It was a 40-point blowout.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be happening in a conference finals. I'm sorry.
But in the East, it's a little more fun because it's been blowout trades. So it's 2-2, but each game's been decided by about 15 points.
Yeah.
That's true. And I mean, it's hard for me to sit here and think that LeBron can't possibly keep doing that, because every time you think he can't keep doing that, he does.
Yep.
So, I mean, I still find it hard to believe that Boston will be able to pull this out. They're a much better team at home, and it's clearly the best series. But, I mean, Houston cannot start their game anywhere close to the last game they played, or they might as well just pack it in tonight.
Do you know what the problem with the Rockets is? They don't play defense.
I was going to say defense.
James Harden plays worse defense than I do.
James Harden doesn't play defense, period.
Well, the Rockets have a chance because I think Iguodala's hurt. He's questionable to play next game, which is tonight.
Well,
yeah,
problem is
he's their best defender on almost anybody. But I mean, even with the Warriors not having Iguodala,
was that 15 points?
That helps the Houston offense. But I mean, Iguodala wasn't exactly the guy you needed to shut down an offense. I mean, Curry got to the point with his cockiness that he was hawking up threes and he was running backwards before the ball was even halfway there.
Yeah, he's back to form.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I don't give one game a pass and say, oh, you know what? He played exceptionally well this one game. He's back. I need to see it on a consistent basis. And, we probably will. But before I anoint him as back to form, I have to see him do it again.
I mean, that's fair. I would be shocked if after this game his confidence isn't all back. It looks like he really shook the rust off and is ready to go.
Well, I mean, that very well could be. And it's not only Curry. I mean, as we've seen, the Rockets, you can shut one of their players out as long as the other three are on, then they're golden. They're Golden State. As long as if Curry is ineffective, as long as KD, Clay, and Draymond play like KD, Clay, and Draymond, then the Warriors are going to be just fine. On the other side, if James Harden can hit the shots that we know he can, and just anybody can play any iota of defense, then the Rockets can theoretically get back in this. I mean, it's not a done series.
I think it is.
I agree with BB. I think this is over. Even if they do not win tonight, there's no way that the Rockets can stop them from doing this at least one more time over 3 games. It's just not possible. They're going to get on that run, and they're going to be like, yo, I don't know what defense is, so...
Ride the momentum.
What are we going to do? We need to get a stop, and we can't stop anybody. We can stop a CYO team from Burnt Knox Westerlo.
Seriously.
I don't know if it's over. I would say if the Rockets win tonight, then this series is open. If they lose, then it's basically over. Whoever hits the third win first is almost certainly going to take it. And it's almost certainly going to be the Warriors. But the Rockets have shown that they can blow the Warriors out. They did it, the previous game to this most recent one. And, maybe they can get that going. I think the key factor is actually Chris Paul more than Harden. Harden, you know what you have, you know what he's going to give you, and you know what he can't do. When CP3 turns it up, I feel like the Rockets become much more dynamic. But obviously the role players need to fill in hugely too to even compete with all the stars that the Warriors have.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of why I get the feeling that they're done. And it's because it's not necessarily Harden and CP3. I do think CP3 sets the tone for what they want to do in any given game. But I think they need position players to come up big in big spots.
They got rid of the position players. They got rid of Patrick Beverly.
But you're talking about you need Ariza to be good. You need all the other guys to step up their game. And to ask them to do that for 3 more games is a tall ask out of those guys against what they're going up against.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about 4 all-stars on the court at any given time almost.
Right. I'd put probability for Warriors at like 70% right now. I'm not gonna count the Rockets out though until they show that they really can't get it done.
I mean, that's fair. I'll give them. I mean, that's generous. I'm going to give them like 85%.
You know what? I'll just do the John Madden thing. I think the team that gets to 4 wins first wins the series.
There it is.
You are fucking a genius.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I agree. So that the other factor.
You get down 3 games, you're gonna have an uphill battle.
I mean, it's not like it's impossible. All you got to do is win 4 in a row. No. The other factor in this game, I just want to pull it back. Andre Iguodala not going to be there for the Warriors is actually a huge loss. It's not a 40-point loss, but I mean, KD is a solid defender. Draymond Green is 100% effort, but Andre Iguodala is the guy who shut LeBron James down.
I mean, soundly defensively, he's the best defensive player that's on that Golden State team. He can.
I'd say it's him and Draymond. The question becomes, without Iguodala, can they keep Harden, on a leash of some sort? Because if he can get loose, then he's shown he can hit 60 points, and that's not what you need.
No, you're right, and that's why if I'm the Warriors, I'm going to try and defensively change things up a little bit, go maybe a little unorthodox, because you don't want to put Draymond out on the perimeter guarding Harden, but you can sacrifice Durant, who is a very good defender. I think if they can get Durant to cover Harden, I think that would completely nullify him. Steph Curry, you're not gonna be able to cover both Harden and Chris Paul the way you'd want, especially now with Andre Iguodala there, with Andre Iguodala not there. So as long as Steph Curry can play okay defense on Chris Paul, and they can find a way to keep Harden at bay, I think that the Warriors can blow them out by 40 again.
I also want to say that, like, with Iguodala, you don't really want to force the issue with him because you want him on the court, and I get that, but you're going to need him on the court for LeBron. He's going to have to be there.
Absolutely.
I mean,
right.
that's more important than him being ready to go in this series right now, in my opinion.
But is LeBron going to be the one that gets to the finals? We'll get to that in just a few minutes. But are we all in agreement? Do we think that the Warriors are going to be the team that represents the West?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, the probability's too good. I'd say yes right now. If I was sure about either of the series, it would be Golden State.
I mean, the Rockets just gave up too much to get Chris Paul. They would love to have Patrick Beverley back. Oh, my God. He was so good. He played defense. He could shoot extremely well. He's what they're missing to really make this a series with the Warriors.
I mean, a lot of teams can't do the Warriors model as easily as the Warriors make it seem. If you want to have a big three or a strong starting lineup with a lot of star power, unfortunately, you're going to lose that in your bench and your quality depth. And you look at Houston. Look at Cleveland.
Well, Cleveland is they're a different animal. They have dumb contracts. They do. They're competing against the Celtics to get to the NBA Finals. The Celtics have like half the contract cost that the Cavaliers do.
Hey, math is really hard in Cleveland.
I mean, I think if you're an NBA GM, your rule should just be don't trade with Danny Ainge because he just, makes you look like a fool.
I was talking about this with a coworker today, and he was saying that the conventional wisdom should be if you see